Oh my gosh, guys. The day that we have been waiting for like forever was finally here last night, and honestly, this episode did not let me down at all. And I talked to you guys, or a lot of you guys, on Twitter yesterday. And if you didn't know, I'm going to be live tweeting every single episode from season 6. So please follow me on Twitter. It's Kelly_TV. That link is also down below because hold on, we've got some feedback here. Because that's a great way for you to talk to me while the show is actually on. I love doing that. And so many of you tweeted along with me, and it was so much fun. So I just want to say, first of all, oh my goodness, at all the people in this room right now, that is blowing my mind, and I am loving that. So thank you guys so much for showing up for the show. And secondly, it was requested that the show be longer than 30 minutes because we usually do like a 30-minute live show. So what I think we'll do is we can do 45 minutes or we can do like an hour. I think anything beyond that is a little bit overkill, but I'm cool with extending it. So we can try for 45. And if there's still a lot of you here, we can go till 7 Eastern time, whatever works for you guys, because there really is like so much to talk about, because I feel like this was probably the best season opener that they've ever had. If you disagree with me, let me know, and let me know which season you think had like a better one. But I was kind of blown away with the amount of stuff that they put in one episode, because usually there are like some slow moments, but I felt like it was just nonstop stuff and nonstop clues and nonstop info, and I was really happy. So I'm going to get to your questions and comments now. There are a few key points I think we should discuss, but I want to see what you guys are talking about, and if you don't bring it up, then I will. And just like have some patience with me because this stream is going super fast. So if I don't see you, you can feel free to comment again, because I'm going to try to get to all of you. But who I see right now, I'm just going to give a shout out to Natty and Melissa and Kelsey and Ingrid and Amy and Sashin, I think. Hopefully that's how you say that. And Ingrid and Brandy. Hey guys, I'm so glad you're here. And I know there's more of you here, and Kelsey. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, Kat agrees that the season opener was the best for me. So guys, go ahead and put in the comments like what questions you have or what you want to discuss. But I guess we could start off with the whole Sarah Harvey reveal. As the episode opened, we saw this girl who had blonde hair who looked like she had been locked in the dollhouse for like a super long time. She was like really disheveled. She appeared to have some maybe mental things going on, which I feel like either have developed because she was locked up for so long, or she actually may have been in Radley before, which is giving me total Bethany Young vibes. And she's just not obviously gotten any better because she's been locked up in a crazy man's dollhouse. And it seems like she's been there for a while. Like, what do you guys think? Now, the debate is this really Sarah Harvey, which I bought into that last night, or is this Bethany Young, which I think this is the same actress who tweeted out a pic that she had to delete earlier, like, maybe a few weeks ago. And a lot of us thought it was going to be Bethany. So I've already seen a lot of back and forth just here in this chat about people who think she's Bethany and people who think she's Sarah. So I guess what we can start talking about right now is, which one do you think she is? And give me reasons why. Because, everything isn't always what they tell us, and we all know that because we're super fans. So just because they said, or just because she says that she's Sarah, doesn't mean anything. And I started to think, well, maybe she's only saying she's Sarah, just like Mona says she's Allie, because Charles has told her, like, you're Sarah Harvey, So let me see what you guys are saying about that. Rebecca mentioned, did anyone else notice Cindy or Mindy at the press conference? I don't remember seeing them, so that was a very good point there. Kelsey's asking for an hour for the premieres and the finales and 45 for normal shows. All right, we can totally do that. We can do an hour today. I'm totally cool with that. Melissa says she knew her name. Yeah, she said she was Sarah Harvey, but is she saying that because Charles tells her that? Because you know how Mona has to say she's Allie, like, all the time, Ingrid is asking if Bethany is dead. Well, that's just what we don't know. Like, we don't know, is Sarah dead? Is Bethany dead? Are they both dead, or are they both alive? I don't know. Sasha brings up a really good point. What happened to the girls in the room? What was the surprise that made them scream? I don't know. On Twitter last night, I was like, OMG, what happened? We don't know what happened. I think that it was interesting the way the show went, because it showed Charles or whoever this person is who's holding them captive as a very like demented person. He left them like outside in a storm all night. It was pretty intense, in my opinion, the stuff that he was putting them through, which I didn't know if they would go that far. And I was kind of impressed with them that they went that far with that storyline. Okay, Nancy says she thinks it's Sarah because Bethany is supposed to be in Allie's grave. They can't mess a body twice, mess a body up twice. Yes, that is the issue here. I do think we have a dead person. So I really do think Sarah or Bethany is dead. I don't think they're both alive. We have to remember that there was a body in Allie's grave. So I don't know. Wow, we're going so fast here. All right, Francois is here. Awesome. Thanks for joining me. I know you're in Australia. He assumed that she was Bethany the whole episode until she said Sarah. So I say she's Bethany. He says best episode yet. I'm feeling the same way about that. Best episode yet. You never know what to expect with this show. And I was like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. And I know Deja, I don't know if she's on here, but we were tweeting yesterday and she was like, I can't get my hopes up with this show. And sadly, I feel like, all of us are big fans and we've come to realize that if you get your hopes up, they will like crush them. So I wasn't like super, I mean, of course I was pumped, but I wasn't like expecting all they gave us, guys. I was like really impressed with it. Yeah, I thought she was Bethany the whole time, but like on Twitter, a lot of people were being like, no, that's Sarah, before she said who she was. So I don't know. So Brandy says, was it just me or were there two people with black hoodies? Very good. And yes, I think you are right. One in the control room and one standing outside the vault. So who could the other one be? As I've said all along, I do not think Charles or A is acting alone. In fact, I'm not even sure if Charles is Uber A. I think Charles is kind of maybe a pawn in all this. And I still feel like there's someone else bigger. And I think there's maybe like a team of people. I don't think any person can do all the stuff that A has done as just themselves, but that's just my opinion. Megan says she was shocked when they said it was Sarah Harvey. She believes it and she will until they say she lied. Okay, so Emma says she doesn't think they would do another fake out with a dead body. Like, I hope not, but there's so much talk of Maya coming back and stuff, so I don't know. I don't know where we're going with that here. Jennifer says the way she said her name was like she didn't know who she was. Right, and that's where I think people are like thinking, she could totally be Bethany because it was almost like she was told to say she was Sarah Harvey, which like I said a bunch of times just tonight, it makes sense because Charles is manipulative and he makes people do certain things. Charlie, hey, has never been in on the Aria as a bandwagon, but I think you were trying to put a link in. Unfortunately, we cannot have links in the chat room, which totally sucks. I'm sorry. So maybe if you could type out some of the things that you were gonna tell me, that would be cool. Francois says, cannot wait to find out what happened during those 3 weeks. I cannot wait. But if you watch the promo, it looks like some really bad stuff went down because it looks like the girls are really messed up mentally from what they went through, which, I mean, to me, the whole scene with them in the white sheets, representing a morgue, like that was really creepy. And I think if any of us had to go through that and wake up like that, and Emily was even thinking that their organs had been harvested, I think we would be so messed up at that point. Sassy says if the girl really is Bethany and A made her pretend to be Sarah, then Sarah has to be important to the plot. Right, and we really don't know what is up with this Sarah girl. We just know she's a girl who went missing when they never found her body, but we know like none of her backstory. Kay says she thought it was so creepy when the girls were naked on the tables. That means Charles undresses and bathed them since they weren't dirty anymore. Okay, I didn't even take it that far, but you were right. That is so creepy. Beyond creepy. Melissa doesn't know if the newspapers were real. I don't either, but although they did seem to kind of have accurate information because we saw some things going on in real time outside the dollhouse that the girls didn't know. So it seemed to be pretty accurate. Something else I want to talk to you about, and I know a lot of you have comments, and we will get to them, is when they went into that room again that we visited in the finale where the video was playing with the two boys, and they said the baby sister, and, I feel like they're really pushing kind of the twin thing, if not the twin thing, the brother thing again. And over the summer, well, not over the summer, but over the break from the show, I started to think that the two boys weren't related, but now I don't know because they seem to be really pushing that agenda, but maybe they're just trying to make us think that. And oh my gosh, Andrew being the suspect, like, I totally do not buy this. If they're telling us that someone is the bad guy, then they're not the bad guy. But where is he? Is he locked up in the dollhouse or what? Back to you guys now. Okay. Let's see. Melissa felt so bad for the parents. Yes, that would have to be terrible to not know where your daughters are for like such a long time. Amy says maybe Sarah was the first Allie, and that is why she seemed a little weird saying her name. Very true, because if she was giving me like total Allie / Mona vibes. They had the same look. Maybe, I mean, that was creepy to me. Like, and I think that picture that the actress tweeted, she had like a yellow tank top on, which was what Allie had on the night she went missing. So I think that is a very good point, Amy. I think you're on the right track. Okay, Samuel is in between the two, but I think, or he thinks that she is probably Sarah. She hesitated when she said her name, which wasn't like Mona, who went straight into Allie mode. True, because it's rehearsed. He says, I think if she is Bethany, her response could have been more rehearsed. Then again, she looked very broken and conditioned by Charles, definitely. But he thinks she's still important to the story, maybe Black Widow. I cannot wait to see what they do with the Bethany story. If she's Bethany, I just hope if she really is Sarah that they explore Bethany more. They've given us like so many hints about Bethany and then they've kind of dropped it like with last season. I think it's definitely time for them to open up more about Bethany and give us some, concrete answers here. Sassy says at the same time, Sarah was originally introduced in a photo, which turned out to be a stock photo. So it seems kind of weird that they bring Sarah into the show since it's not the same person. So question about that, like when she was introduced in a photo, I cannot remember what Sarah looked like. That's really a good point. Did she look like this actress or at least similar? Was she blonde? All right. So people are asking why they suspected Andrew. Brooke is asking. Nancy says it's because A's lair was at this parent's apple farm. If you remember, yes, at the end of season 5, they found another lair at that apple farm, but that doesn't mean to me that he's connected. I don't know what's up with that. I feel like he's been kidnapped, in my opinion. He may have he may be related to some of these people, is what I think, but I don't think he's A or Charles. Sorry. I didn't even choose him to do a theory video on because I don't think that he is A or Charles. Emma says Andrew's diary didn't seem like the writing of a super intelligent person. Sashin, if I'm saying your name wrong, let me know, says that Sarah does not look like the missing picture from the Sarah Harvey website. Thank you. So I need to definitely look up the picture that was released when we first started talking about Sarah. I feel like it was on a flyer, right, that her friends had. So she's not looking like this new actress. That must be a clue, guys, to me, that maybe all of you who think she's not really Sarah could be right. Megan says she thought the guy's voice directing Allison when she was driving in the car was Peter Hastings. Very interesting because I had someone tweet me that they thought it was Byron. Both of those guys are uber shady. So I think that could definitely be interesting. Kelsey says, do you think Varjak is a different person than Charles A? If so, do you think Varjak could be Andrew? I get really confused when I start thinking about Varjak and Black Widow and Uber A and Charles. And are these all like one name for all, one person basically, or not? Or is like Varjak a distraction? I hope that the show this season will answer like some Varjak stuff. We'll get back onto Varjak because they spent a lot of time on it last season. And I feel like that has also been dropped. So I'm hoping that we'll talk about it more. Again, all I will say about that is I do not think that A is operating alone. Whether A is Charles and A is just one big evil person, A has helpers, or there are different evil factions. There's like a Varjak and a Black Widow and so on and so forth. So Molly says, why did the 5 girls say, let's stick together always? And then literally 2 seconds later, they let Mona walk behind them so Charles can grab her. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they trust Mona now, but maybe, because I don't trust her. I feel like she's working for Charles. Maybe they have some, maybe they're kind of worried. Maybe they think she'll double cross them because she has before. Melissa's asking, is anyone noticing that Spencer is figuring everything out? I wanted to bring up to you guys that she made a really important comment, I think, on last night's episode when she said she felt like she knew Charles, like she didn't really know him, but something was really familiar about him. And to me, that is like saying that I feel like that means they're related, because it's like if you meet someone who's a relative and you feel like something familiar there, but you know, like you don't actually know them. So it's either he's a relative, or I think maybe he is actually someone she knows and maybe hasn't seen in a while, and she's getting like vibes like, oh my gosh, like I remember you. There's something familiar about you. Okay, so Natty says the voice in Allison's car wasn't a recording because it answered her question, which means it couldn't have been an automated voice like the female's voice in the dollhouse. Okay, now that is a very good point, and I did not think about that, but you're right, because it was talking back to her. So somebody is doing this from a live location. Very interesting. Michael, what's up? Michael says that he thinks he knows who wrote the message, "He's going to kill me." It was written in Allison's bedroom, but guess who else used to live in Allison's house and moved into her old bedroom? Maya St. Germain, exactly. And there were so many little hints to Maya last season. And yes, I do think that she will make an appearance in this season, and I don't think she's dead. Brandy said she saw an article that Varjak's number spells out Sarah Harvey. Yeah, I think that was something that was a clue from last season, so I have heard that. Brooke asked if I'm wondering, or she's wondering if I think that Sarah's friends are harassed by A too, or have an A of their own. Actually, no, I don't think so. I don't know if the show's going to go that far into it, but I really don't think so. Joshua says, what's up, Joshua? Do you think the trick, how Allison said, Andrew, don't hurt them? Are you asking me if I think that's a trick? Kind of clarify that for me and I'll get back to you. Okay, let's see. Spencer even said the word cousin. This is Molly talking, and she is the only one putting together everything. Yeah, she is. I really think that they are related. That's what I think is going to come of that, but we will see. Andre, thanks for being here, has also seen what Brandy saw. Okay, Joshua, I do not think that Andrew, if you're asking, I think they're trying to make him a suspect like they tried to make Toby and Ezra and all these people, like when they're obviously pointing at someone and being like, this is the person, until they actually reveal A and stick with it, which who knows when that's going to happen. I don't think Andrew is A or Charles. I don't even think he's doing anything bad because they're being so obvious about it. Charlie asked a cool question, or an important question. What if Arya cut and styled her hair herself after they were locked out of the house because she's working with A? I do not get when that happened. Was Charles supposed to be the one who fixed her hair, kind of like, I guess, like it was the night that Allison died? Very confused with that. I know a lot of you are hoping that she is A. I would love it if Ezra ends up being A, but that was so strange. Melissa always thought that Maya was alive. I'm with you. I've always thought that was shady. I always thought that she knew more than she let on because, she lived in Allie's house. She was in her room. She had like access to all of her stuff. So definitely, like diaries and stuff. So definitely. Megan says she thinks Spencer probably knew him this summer. Allison went missing. Are we talking about Charles? Yes, because Spencer's mom talked to her about how different Spencer was. And maybe she found out about Charles that summer but forgot. I'm just still hoping that Charles is an actual character who we know and not a random relative or a distant cousin or something who we've never met, but maybe she's met. No thanks. All right, Francois says, some people suggest that they didn't like how quickly the girls got out. In my opinion, he loved it. They got out when they did. So it's answer time. Yeah, I mean, this season is branded as #the summer of answers. So if they don't give us answers, it's going to be very disappointing. But I feel like we did get some stuff in last night's episode. A lot of times there's some slowness in these episodes, but I feel like, a lot of stuff happened, and I'm really happy, honestly, with how it started. Sassy says she randomly thought of this and would never happen, but could you imagine if the Sarah girl that was in the dollhouse was actually the baby girl in the video? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I think we're supposed to believe that Charles has a baby sister. So is Spencer Charles's sister? Is Charles a brother that she doesn't know she has? Is that where they're going here? Intrigues, not sure what your real name is. This is your first chat. Awesome. And she liked the episode, or I think it's a she. If it's a he, let me know. More questions than answers. Excited to see what the season brings. Me too. Ingrid says, starting to think Ezra is not Charles. Please don't say that. You're killing me. No, it's okay. But who is? Who is it? Is it Rin? I mean, who is it? And if it's Rin, and if that's like Spencer's brother, then that's so creepy. Okay. Rebecca says the detail that was put into the morgue makes me think of Ren since he is a doctor. We were just talking about him. Yeah, we're getting more like hospital themed things. Jade says, what do you think happened in the rooms which made them scream? I don't know. I hope we find out. I'm also hoping, as I talked to some of you on Twitter yesterday, that we find out what happened in order the night that Allie disappeared, because I think they owe that to us as people who have, and I assume most of you have watched all of this. I've watched it all live since the beginning, so I want to know what happened. That's the big theme around the whole show. So tell us, show us what happened that night, you know? Okay, Megan says Spencer might have found out about Charles that summer, and that's when she started her pill addiction. Okay, true. So that might have made her, you know, feel like she needed to depend on substances to deal with some stuff she didn't want to deal with, basically. So Natty says this may seem far out, but what if Charles was planning to kidnap Allison, but Bethany killed her? Charles flipped out and killed Bethany. So there's no Allison for his dollhouse, so he takes Sarah instead. Yeah, I mean, I could see that being true completely. You know, I mean, what I don't know, and what we don't know, I don't think, is what is Charles's deal with Allison? What is the obsession? He's so obsessed that he had two people living in the dollhouse that we know of that, you know, he was making look like her. I mean, what is it? He's got a very deep obsession. It's not just random. There is a good reason for it. What is that reason? All right, Molly says that she knows that Allie took off her GPS and left a clue for Caleb and Ezra, or the shoes, but she saw Caleb show her where the GPS locator was, and why wouldn't she why didn't she take it out so they could still track her? I don't know. I mean, I was getting really worried about Allie during this episode, because I was like, she's going to make so many dumb mistakes that she's going to be locked up in the dollhouse, and sometimes I don't know what she's thinking. So I'm glad that that didn't happen. Kelsey's asking, do I think it was weird that Allie put little hints into her interview to lure Andrew to the kissing rock? Do you think they have a history like she did with Ian and Ezra? Well, that's a good question. And knowing Allie, who freaking knows? Because apparently she's dated, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of the guys in Rosewood. So I think that's a really good point. And I mean, hey, anything is possible with her. Megan says, let's see, we have so many people here. I've lost my spot here. Maybe the pills made her forget about Charles, or she went through a lot that summer, and that's why she doesn't know what he looks like. Okay, I could totally see that. Intrigues is saying Ezra, Caleb, and Toby are not Charles. Is that just because we see them on the other side? Because to me, that doesn't mean anything. I can just think that the people that are being Charles and the black hoodies are the helpers. I think that maybe it would be even really cool if Ezra, Caleb, and Toby were Charles, because we are being led to believe that they're okay, because we see them and they're trying to help, you know, find the girls and stuff. So I would think that would be even cooler. Melissa asking, how long was Sarah in the dollhouse? I don't know. It really honestly appeared to be quite a while with the way she looked, but I don't know. It seemed to me like she has some stuff going on, some mental stuff going on. Is that from the dollhouse, or did that just contribute to that? I don't know. But it makes sense for her to be Bethany, to be honest, because we know Bethany was in Radley, and this girl looks like she has some things going on. So Joshua says, did anyone see the promo for next episode with Emily with the gun? Allison asking for answers with her dad. Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. We'll have to see how that plays out. Megan says she was surprised at how soon the girls got out of the dollhouse. She thought they'd get out in episode 2 or 3 because Marlene said they'd escape sooner than we think. To be honest, I feel like the amount of time it took them to get out of the dollhouse was okay. Like, it was near the end of the episode, and I am fine with them getting out and maybe like doing some other stuff. And I like the fact that they got back into that room, the one that Spencer was in at the end of season 5, and kind of explored that a little more. And I don't have to have them trapped in there for like 3 or 4 episodes. So I'm kind of fine with how they did that. Michael says that he thinks the form of torture on the liars was that each girl had to pick who out of the other 3 girls that they wanted A to torture. You can sort of see that in next week's promo. That's interesting. That would be really interesting and actually terrible. So we'll see if that happens. Amy says that she wishes the liars took some of Charles' stuff so they could have figured out who he was instead of burning the movie. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. That's basically evidence there. And why Were they destroying the evidence? Like I said, sometimes these people just do not think. I just don't get it. So Jade says, if you ask her, Ezra found that door pretty quickly from some smoke on the ground. Sketchy. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change my mind. Like if you go back on my channel and watch my different suspect videos, Caleb and Ren, actually I didn't do Caleb, Ren and Jason and Ezra and Jason, by the way, I thought was a little bit shady last night, maybe in person, on purpose. But Jason, Lucas, Ren, and Ezra, I think that's all, and Ezra. I am not letting go of any of those possible suspects just because we see maybe some of them, like Ezra, lurking outside or trying to help. You know, to me, that doesn't mean anything. So Megan said she definitely thinks that Allison and Andrew have a history, which I could totally see that being true. Tanner said that Andrew has been obsessed with the girls after Allison went missing. She thinks he was there the night Allison went missing. Wow, that's interesting. So we know there's definitely more to Andrew than we know. And I hope we find out what that is. Who is he related to? What is his deal? What is his deal with Allison? Was it because they dated and she blew him off like she does to people and just said, forget it? I don't know. So Samuel said when the liars went into Allison's room to unpack her things for her arrival to the dollhouse, there was a toy with CD carved on it. Yes, which we think is Charles De Laurentiis. Ah, look at this, Samuel. Good thinking. Probably one of Charles' toys. And I assumed it was Charles De Laurentiis, but did anyone think it was CC Drake? I love that. Or are they the same people? Now, he's saying it might not be a transgender storyline, but split personalities if it happened to be that Charles is someone's alter ego or is dead and a motive. Okay, that is one of the best things I have read on here. Props to you, Samuel. That's really good. I think the writers have pretty much come out and said they're not going to do transgender or gender confusion storyline here, but what if it's someone with MPD, multiple personality disorder, who has a woman, okay, or vice versa, if it's Cece. If Cece is Charles, what if Charles is one of her male personalities? Love it. Love that. What do you guys think about that? Melissa's asking, why did Sarah not have her personal room? And there was like a million tally marks where the door was wide open, the room where she was in. To me, it was because she's done something wrong, because wasn't Mona put in like some scary place like that because she was in trouble? So that's kind of what I think. For some reason she's in trouble. Joshua was shocked when he saw Sarah and how Mona never noticed her there and how Sarah looked free and not locked. Okay, so this brings me back, good point, Joshua, to we cannot trust Mona, because here's the thing. Do you really believe that she didn't know that Sarah or Bethany lived there in that dollhouse? Because Mona was there before those girls got there. So if she knew that this other girl was there, which how could she not, why didn't she tell the girls? I mean, come on. That is shady. I think for sure she knew. And I think she didn't tell them because I think she's working with Charles. All right. Molly says, since the girls, now I've lost your comment. I'm sorry. There you are. Since the girls are wearing what they wore from that night, maybe Charles made Spencer take her pills again, cut and dyed Arya's hair, maybe made Hannah eat and throw up food, teased Emily, like the stuff that Allie would do. That is really twisted and demented, but that is what Charles is proving to be. So maybe. So Fernanda, hi, thanks for joining us. Allie's dad says, no Charles De Laurentiis in this family, because maybe Charles is a Hastings. Seems like he is lying, though. Yeah, I agree with you. It does seem shady, but, maybe, I don't know. I'm really buying into this CC Drake thing now. I'm really buying into the multiple personality thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. So Intrigues is saying, just because we saw the 3 guys doesn't mean they couldn't be involved. Top suspects are Ren, Jason, Lucas, and Byron. Always said from day one that Byron was a super shady guy. Our first clue was obviously that he was having affairs. He likes younger girls. Creepy. Maybe he was preying on Allison. I always thought that he probably had an affair with Allison. That's what I have thought from way back in season 1. Okay, Sassy says, she's confused as to why they thought Andrew is a suspect. Well, it was because in the season finale of season 5, I always want to say Ezra's lair. I think is because I still think he's A. They found a Charles lair at the apple farm owned by Andrew's family. So therefore, he also disappeared, making them think that he disappeared because he was Charles and he was running a lair and he was running from police. I think something has happened to him. And to be honest, he could be dead. Someone could have killed him. I have no idea. But he was, he was being really, 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 really shady. And I think that they wanted you to think that it's because he was Charles last season. And they definitely want you to think that now. But I don't think that. So Jade is asking if we will ever find out why Arya is always knowing something is going to happen before it happens, like there being a text. Will this ever be covered? Well, I mean, for all of you who think that Arya and Ezra are that's your answer. But, maybe she's not. I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it. If they tell us that Arya is in on all this, then that totally explains it, Andre. Hi, Andre. Thanks for being here. Saying that top suspect is Paige. Very good point, because Allie called Paige pigskin. There were pigs. I think there was a pig noise on the phone at one point when the phone was supposed to be someone in Allie's house when that phone call was made. The pig mask in Allie's house. And Z says it has to mean something. I'm with you. I definitely think the pig references are important. So where the heck is Paige? I'm having a problem with that. I need the show to tell me something about her. I need to hear from her. If she is not doing bad things, we need some sort of update. We need a FaceTime from her, a postcard, a visit, because otherwise I'm starting to think something's really bad or she's dead or whatever. Molly says, when Allie said something like, Andrew can't wait to get his hands on me, she thought that was weird because we never saw her to the relationship. Could he be beach hottie board shorts then? Really good point, because, right, we have never been given any type of information that there was something going on between Allie and Andrew until last night. So my other question here is, like, how many guys is this girl going to hook up with, or has she hooked up with? This is getting a little ridiculous if she's also had a thing with Andrew. Come on, this is crazy. But it might explain some things to us as to why he has acted so weird, especially in last season. Julie says, is she the only person who thinks the voice in the car Allison drives sounds like Ren? Everyone kind of thinks it sounds like someone. I've heard Peter and Byron and Ren. So it's interesting. I don't know. Michael says, it doesn't make sense that Arya and Ezra are A because we saw both of them when we saw Charles in the dollhouse. True. But what I just said a few minutes ago is, I don't think that Charles works alone. So the people that we are seeing in the dollhouse, and I believe we saw 2 different people in black hoodies. Could be wrong, but I know a lot of you think that too. Those are helpers, okay? Or sometimes we do see the real A, and we don't know that Charles is uber A anyway. So I think there's a mastermind is what I think to all of this. And I think the other people are working for this person. Megan's Charles suspects are Cece, Ezra, or Paige. Like it, okay. Melissa also saying Paige is very specific. Sashin says that pigs refer to Arya as well. Arya's puppet, Pigtunia. Very good point. Very good point there. Jade said the pig was set up by Ezra and Caleb, right, to mock the police because they're pigs. I didn't get that impression. Is that really what that was? I thought that was a total Charles/A setup. That seemed really weird to me. Molly says she doesn't think Sarah's room was free. It was during the time the power was out, so her door opened. Yes, that makes sense. It probably wasn't unlocked, and I feel like she was in some sort of timeout or some sort of place that you go when you are like a very bad girl, according to Charles. That's what I think. Joshua says, did anyone screenshot the diary Tanner was reading? It sounded like A wrote it. The diary basically said that whoever it was not mad at the girls. No, I should probably definitely go back and try to look at that on my iPad. So that's a good point. Andre says Paige is Emily's girlfriend and she's missing. Well, no, they actually broke up because she went to California, but we haven't heard from her. And I think Emily had tried to get in touch with her several times last season and she never responded. So it's just really shady. And it was shady how she abruptly left. But a lot of you seem to think that the actress had other jobs that she needed to do. So that's why she had to leave the show suddenly. But I really don't know because I can never find that information on Google. Michael says, Emily seemed like she was never asleep in the morgue. We saw the rest of them wake up, but Emily just started talking. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't ever suspect Emily, but I don't know if that's what you're hinting at, but who knows? Who knows is all I can say. I mean, who really knows who's helping A or who is A? Okay, Natty's Charles, I think she's saying her number one suspect is Lucas. Good point, because they had a gas mask thing near the beginning of the episode. if you've ever read the very compelling Lucas's A theory, which deals with gas masks, a gas mask points to Lucas, but it also points to Ezra because when they were in Ravenswood a while back, he had some sort of thing with the gas mask. I think he wore one. So there's something with that. And the gas mask was also something he made Mona wear. Charles made Mona wear last, I think, the season finale. That is definitely a clue. Okay. Natty says that they mentioned the lake. Allison made fun of him. He had a toy boat at the lake. Spencer found a toy boat in the box with the initials CD. That's so good. That is so brilliant, Natty. I love it. Yes. Okay. Great. And I even included this in my my Lucas's Charles Theory video. I have that picture of him and the boat and the fact that Allie made fun of him. I did not put those two together. That is so brilliant. The toy boat was a clue, guys, and it wasn't just a clue because it said CD. Love it. Okay, Sashin says Charles had to make an important decision yesterday to kidnap Allie or to try and save the things in his vault. Why did he choose to save his possessions? Really great question. I think this person is obsessed with the past. I think all that old music that we heard was definitely another clue as to explain Charles or something about Charles's past. I think he clings to those things because he doesn't have like a connection to people anymore. So he clings to maybe what his life used to be. I don't know if that's what the possessions remind him of, or the possessions are of, remind him of something he wants to have or wanted to have at some point. She's also asking, why was it so important to him, even though Allie is his favorite? Because I just think, like I just said, I just think there's something about him, obviously, that's not right. And those things, he clings to that. And he's like obsessed with this other life or a life that he used to have. Megan says the pig noises on the phone and the dummy with the pig mask were set up by Caleb and Ezra, not A. Okay, sorry. I missed that. Thank you for pointing that out. They talked about it when Allison got in the car with him. Very good. Thank you, Megan. Austin and Allie says her two theories are Meredith is connected to Charles De Laurentiis or that Byron is the father. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. That goes back to my Byron is such a shady guy theory. I love it. So Brandy says, remember back in season 5 when the girls were in the park and got surrounded by a bunch of people in black hoodies? I totally remember that. She says there has to be an A team. Thank you. And that supports my theory that, there's not just one A. There may be one A, but A has people helping. Okay. So I think that's totally believable. And you're right. I mean, those were just random people in black hoodies. Okay. Melissa said that Sarah, the actor, just changed because they didn't know she was going to be an important component in the show later on. So they had to change the actor. Okay, the actress. So what she's saying is that we saw a picture of Sarah Harvey seasons ago. This is not the same person, obviously, that we saw yesterday. But that makes sense. So a new actress is actually playing the role. All that was a picture of someone before. So that totally makes sense. Sassy thinks it's weird that Jason had literally one line in last night's episode. Yeah, and I just felt like it was super awkward and a little bit shady of him. I don't know. I just got a really weird vibe from that. Molly wonders if Toby ever feels bad that he became a cop because he's kind of just like the rest of them, not doing his job since he's going behind their backs. Kind of weird, though. Yeah, that does make sense. I don't know. I mean, I think that he, or at least what we're led to believe, is that he wanted to become a cop because he wanted to really protect Spencer and her friends and kind of know, like, have an inside track about what was going on in Rosewood so he could be a step ahead of A. Really hasn't worked out that way, but unless he ends up being a bad guy or on the A team, I think that he has good intentions with what he's doing. I really do. Emma's asking, what will Charles do next? Can he do anything worse, or will he go into hiding? Yeah, I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to get more intense. I think if last night's episode was any kind of indication, I think they're going to take it to some extreme levels because I felt like they really did that yesterday. I think, and they've even said this, like the writers have said this, the people, the actors and actresses on the show, they've said like Charles is really crazy. Okay. So I'm going to be interested to see like what actually he does. Michael says, remember when Jason almost got shot yesterday? Yes. Okay. Joshua was asking how long is the show today. We're going to go for an hour, so that will be 7 o'clock for those of you on Eastern time, and for everyone else, we have 20 minutes left, because since it was the season opener, I know there's so many things that we want to talk about, so we'll go for an hour. Normally, we do 30 minutes. Some of you have requested 45 for the next shows. We can totally do that. If a lot of you want 45, we can do that. Okay, Mindy's asking, is it possible to watch this in the beginning of the live stream? It completely is. So how that works is about 10 to 15 minutes after this live broadcast ends, this entire thing will appear on my YouTube channel, and you can watch the whole thing. You can also make comments. I always go back and reply to those because a lot of people can't watch it live, so that's your way to do that. Or if you just catch parts, you can go back. Did anyone feel sorry for Charles when the vault was burning? Asks Emma. I don't, they've always said, people, I think maybe it was like Ashley Benson said, like, once we know what Charles has been through, then we are really going to feel sorry for him. So, yeah, but he was really mean in last night's episode, like really, really evil. And I'm kind of losing my my ability to like empathize with him because I feel like he was just really brutally mean. I mean, like after I saw what Sarah had been going through and when he was doing to Mona, and I was just like, what he was doing to the girls, I don't know. Natty's asking if I've seen the Walking After Midnight theories. Yes, I have. There's a real life farm by that name owned by two people named Charles and Melissa. It is also known as the Black Widow Farm. Melissa could be Black Widow. Yeah, and I think even before, we even knew about this farm or this theory, a lot of people have thought Melissa was Black Widow. But my question is Black Widow bad? Because I don't want to believe that Melissa's bad. I've always kind of thought she was a good, person or / character. I don't know. Sasha's hanging on to hope that the girl is really Sarah. Her theory is that Bethany is someone's twin because they're taking their time to reveal her face, and it's going to shock us to see Bethany. Now, I really like that because what is the deal with Bethany? Like, that is such a big storyline. Very good point that we have no clue, and I think that is so bizarre that we have no clue what she looks like. As much as they've said, like Marlene and other people from the show, Siri's talking to me, I'm sorry. Marlene and other people from the show have said, like, they're not going to go with the books. They're not going to do the Allie twin thing. Like, I'm still wondering, are they going to make Bethany her twin? I've always wondered that, but maybe not. Michael thinks that Charles is the one that brought Radley and maybe the girl, or the bought Radley, and maybe the girls will be sent there and he will trap them and Radley in. Thank you, Michael. That was one of the points that I wanted to bring up that I haven't yet. We learned from a news report that Radley is permanently closed. What do you guys think about that? That has always been such a place of shadiness. Why is it closed? I think they said because they were concerned about, since the girls were kidnapped and stuff. But I found that to be such a huge piece of information that really kind of got glossed over. And I think that's a huge deal that place is closed. And definitely, Michael, I'm wondering what is going to happen with that. Megan did not feel sorry for Charles when the vault got burnt. Yeah, I mean, until we know like his backstory, after all the stuff that he did yesterday, I'm having some serious difficulties feeling bad for him. Hold on. Okay, who do I think bought Radley? Sassy is asking. Someone completely shady. I think whatever happens with Radley is not going to be good. I think whatever was happening with Radley was not good, but I think it's going to get a lot worse. Who knows what they're going to do with that? It's probably, like Michael said, it could be a prison for people. Not good at all. Andre says he's confused why they showed the news that Radley was permanently closed and nobody mentioned it again after that. I think that's huge, guys. I think that's a huge piece of information. And like I just said, it was just kind of like forgotten, or they just want to throw that in there, but they didn't go in depth. But I think it's definitely going to be revisited in the next few episodes. Molly says she doesn't remember if it was Arya or Emily, but one of them said that A has a soul. And just like Mona said, which is a weird line to have two separate characters repeat who didn't talk to each other about it. Yeah, and I think that just maybe the show really wants to drive that home, because I'm hoping it'll be this season when we learn what is the deal with A. What happened to A? I want to know who A is. I think they claim, right, that we're going to finally know who A is this season. If I'm wrong, let me know. But we need to know what's their backstory. What is, what's going on? What has gone on? Jade says she read a theory once that Allie had a child or an abortion and that A was the father punishing her and her friends because they made the decision. What do I think of it? I mean, I've definitely heard the speculation that Allie was pregnant in the past. I don't know. I feel like that theory is a little far-fetched, but with this show, you honestly never know where they're going to go. So who knows? Do I really think that was Andrew behind the news reporter? Asked Molly. It looked like him. It totally looked like him, didn't it? But that seems kind of crazy. I mean, if he knows that people are looking for him and stuff, to me, that's really weird because I'm starting to think he is in trouble or he is locked up somewhere. I think he's probably in the dollhouse or was in the dollhouse. But then again, maybe not because it seemed like they got everyone out of there who was in there. So I'm not sure. Michael thinks that Charles bought Radley and maybe the girls will be sent there and he will trap them in Radley or something. I just don't think it's good. I'm not getting good vibes about the sale of Radley. I don't think anything good is going to come out of that. Sashin says she can never see herself feeling sorry for Charles. He might have had a rough start in life, but that doesn't give him the right to kill and torture people. I totally agree with you because, as you know, so many people have issues. I think we all have had some sort of issue in the past or currently where no one's life is perfect. And, I've always been bothered by people who continue to use something that's happened to them or happened to them currently as a crutch. Like, well, I hate everyone because when I was a kid, such and such happened. So that doesn't mean you can't overcome it and work through your problems. So yeah, but we don't know what happened. It was probably some very terrible stuff, but it doesn't mean that you go crazy and harass and stalk people. It's never going to be an excuse, Okay, Natty says the characters we see the least have the biggest mystery around them. Cece, Bethany, Sarah, Sydney, etc. I like that. You're right. What's up with that? Brooke says the fact that Radley closed all of a sudden is so suspect. Yes, so shady. To me, that was like such a red flag. When I heard that news report, I was like, oh my gosh, that's huge, guys. Megan says she doesn't know why, but she thinks Peter Hastings bought Radley or that Byron Montgomery bought Radley. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see Peter being the one doing it. Or maybe it was even Allie's dad. Who knows? Samuel feels a bit sorry for him because he lost the memories of his family. Therefore, to the girls, he has lost his soul. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Molly says the kissing rock has initials EF plus AD. Ooh, I kind of missed that. That's good. Could that be Emily Fields or Ezra Fitz? Well, EF and AD, that has to be Ezra and Allie, right? Allie De Laurentiis, Ezra Fitz? Or is that too obvious? Nancy says she thinks Charles gassed the girls so he could put a tracking chip in them, like the one you put in animals where no scar is visible to the eye. How creepy would that be? That's a really good thought. That is totally creepy. All right, so Ingrid says that the show, I'm going to say this because we never know, claims that we will see Charles. We will have the identity revealed. Season 6, episode 10, I believe. Yeah, it is called Unmasked. I remember that now. I want to say claims because they've told us so many things and it doesn't really work out the way we would assume, but we'll see. I hope, obviously, this is the case. Mindy says she does not remember Sarah. Is this the first episode they mentioned her in? No, several seasons ago, the girls, or maybe a couple of the girls, met up, and I want to say they were like in Philadelphia. They met up with two girls who were friends of the Sarah Harvey person. Sarah Harvey disappeared around the same time that Allie did, but they never found her body. And, there was just a lot of similarities between her and Allie. So they had talked about her then. They really haven't talked about her a lot, though. So now we're supposed to believe that the reason they didn't find her body is because A has had her locked up in the dollhouse for like a long time. Trey, what's up, is saying we find out who Charles is in the summer finale. I just hope we really do. I hope they're not tricking us. Jade says Arya snaps twice in this episode, telling Spencer to burn the possessions. And then when she says, say goodbye to your soul. Yeah, I thought some of her behavior was a bit erratic and a bit crazy. I agree with you. Kay says, what do you think will happen when Allie asks her dad who Charles is? Good question. I think he's going to say he doesn't know who he is. But maybe that's not true. In fact, it's probably not true, but that's what I think he's definitely going to say. Amy says maybe Peter Hastings bought Radley to hide the secret that he's keeping in that box of evidence. If you remember, that was in the season 5 finale, and he acted really suspicious about what was in that box. So yes, I like that. Andre's hoping that we will know who Charles is before the girls know. Me too. I think that would be really cool. Sassy says, I was just talking about Lucas and the gas mask thing, and she just realized that it must be important because in the season 6 poster, Mona is wearing a gas mask. Yes, there are so many references in this show to gas mask. Off the top of my head, season 5 finale, Charles makes Mona wear a gas mask, if you remember, in her bedroom or in Allie's bedroom. And then I think Ezra has one on when we all thought that he was when he was in Ravenswood. And last night there was the gas mask thing. I mean, there's something up with that. That's a huge clue. Arya didn't get in trouble, according to Molly, when she said, I'm going to kill you for what you're doing to our parents, whereas Mona got put in a hole for 3 weeks for saying no twice to Charles. Really strange. Agree. There's a lot of shadiness. And like I said in my Ezria is a theory video, she's had like the best treatment from she's had to do, like, she just hasn't been put through what her friends have been put through, in my opinion. Brandy is asking, whatever happened to Noel Khan? That's a really good question. Can anyone tell me? I miss him. I like him, but he had something really weird going on with Mona. There was a weird dynamic there. I never trusted him. Do you guys remember what the show said as to where he went, or did they say something? Did they try to say something? Because I don't know. Joshua says maybe Sarah was punished and that's why she wasn't in her room. That's exactly what I think. I feel like she's in like the timeout hole, kind of like Mona was in. He says maybe she escaped and that's why one of her friends thought they saw her on the bike. Yeah, I think she did something to make Charles mad. That's what I think. Okay, Megan says Arya snapped 3 times when she told Spencer she threatened to kill Charles for hurting their families. Yes, telling Spencer to burn his possessions, and when she says goodbye to your soul. And honestly, I thought that behavior was a little bit strange from Arya. I even tweeted about it last night, that it seemed forced and kind of fake and kind of weird and kind of out of character for her, because she's usually not that confrontational and like bold, Okay, so Natty has a theory that Leslie could be the 3rd friend of Sarah. The one named Avery didn't come. Okay, cool. All right. She didn't think Sarah was dead. Right. I remember that. And she was being held somewhere with amnesia, and she was spot on. Creepy. That is creepy. Okay. I like how you think there. Megan says, was that Andrew's diary that Tanner was reading in the police station? That is what they were trying to get us to believe, although I'm not quite sure. Sassy says she just looked at the cast for season 6, and it seems there's going to be quite a few new characters. Yes, I've definitely seen that. And that Dr. Sullivan's coming back to the show. And what is the deal with Dr. Sullivan? I think there's definitely more to her than they've told us. What do you guys think? Jennifer's asking, what door did the girls come out of and where did the fence go? Good question. Can anyone answer that? Because I'm not sure either. Let me see if I can go back up and see what else we have. I know I missed some of your comments and questions, and I'm really sorry. Because sometimes this just starts flying by and I have trouble getting to everyone. What else should we speak of or talk about? I think we've covered like all the main points. But again, I just wanted to say, and we have still just a few minutes left. I just wanted to say, like, I seem to have lost my internet. Was really happy with that episode. I know that some of you said we just got more questions, and yeah, we kind of did. But I also feel like they were a little bit more open than they normally are. And what I mean by that is, well, we finally see someone who claims to be Sarah Harvey. So I think that's interesting. And the fact that Spencer made that statement, which I thought was pretty epic, when she said she felt like she knew Charles. Like, I felt like that was such an important statement. I just feel like they were going out there more, like they were just giving us more. Now, they can always come back and take all of that away and disappoint me. But overall, I really have high hopes for this season. And, I mean, the show's not going to be on much longer. So at some point, I think we all realize that the show would have to start giving us more. And I think this is probably going to be the most exciting couple of seasons in the whole history of the show. Because after all this time that we waited, guys, we're going to start really learning things. We have to. They're going to have to come to a point where we're wrapping things up. And I think that we are in that point now. I saw an article yesterday. I didn't actually read it because there were so many articles out before the show premiered. And it said, you know, PLL season 6, the beginning of the end. And guys, I really think this is completely true. Like, I think this is going to be the summer of answers, the season where we start getting information, where they start making, resolving things. And I'm really excited about that. So Megan says she heard that Paige is coming back in a few episodes. I haven't heard that. Have you seen her like on any cast list or anything? Because that would be very interesting. Fernanda says, how did the police know that Mona wasn't dead? Okay, I know we found that out last season, but now I need to be reminded because my mind is running blank. Natty is fed up with new characters when they don't tie up loose ends with the ones they have. Noel, Jenna, Sydney. So annoying. Please don't give us any more new people. All I can say is with the Sarah character, if she is Sarah, at least it's someone, you know, that we'd heard of before. She's not like, because I knew they were going to have like a missing girl story. I'm so glad they didn't make up some new person to be the missing girl who was trapped in the dollhouse. Thank goodness. As Hayden says, she thinks it's going to be the best season. I think it's going to be awesome, although I think next season is going to be pretty cool too. But I really feel like we're going to get so much information and answers this season. I hope I'm not wrong. Yes, there are 7 seasons planned. So we really are in the beginning of the end. We have this season where we're promised a lot of answers, and then we have next season, and I believe it's this season where we're going to have the time jump. Is that correct? Kay Marie says Tanner saw Mona in the video camera in the lair. Thank you. Yes, and that's why Allison is no longer charged with her murder. So anyway, guys, if you guys are on Twitter, please follow me. I am Kelly_TV. This is the absolute best way to know when I have videos coming up, when I have live chats coming up. Again, I live tweet now with every single show for season 6. So if you're really into that while you're watching, you can tweet along with me. The link is down below though, so you can definitely click on that and follow me, but I will follow you back as well. And also I have my Facebook link there. I have a fan page and also Instagram. I love like seeing what you guys are up to on Instagram if you're on there. Maybe one day I'll even make a Snapchat so you guys can talk to me on there. So I just love being super connected with you when, you know, when we're not doing the chats or when we're waiting for the next episode. So don't forget to follow me and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because then you can always stay in touch with me. Sassy says, remember in the Halloween episode where a little girl showed up at Hannah's house? Yes, completely. She doesn't think it's Allie because the girl who played Allie as a child in the Christmas episode isn't the same girl. That was really interesting completely. I totally remember that, but it's like, was that a ghost or what? Karen says she was waiting for my video about this episode, and she found a video about Charles, so I will come check that out. If anybody else wants to check it out, you see Karen's name here in the forum. Okay, I think Amy says 6B is where there is a time jump. So interesting. That'll be interesting. Definitely. I'm looking forward to that. Mindy says when the show is over, what will she do with her life? And the year jump is planned for this season. I don't know, guys, because I feel like the show has just been on for so long, and it's been a part of all of our lives for so long. Can you imagine like the series finale? I think people are all going to be crying. I just can't believe it. I won't be able to believe it. So thankfully, that's a little while away. We still have some time to still enjoy like our favorite show. Andre says, didn't they want to make a PLL movie? If so, he wants it to be all about that night with every information we got over the seasons. That would be cool. I haven't heard that. Megan says that Marlene said that Paige is coming back in an interview, which would really make me happy. So I think she needs to come back because she needs to answer some freaking questions. What do you guys think? I totally think that. Okay, so we have like 2 minutes left. Oh, hey, Ashley, glad you can join us. I know you're all the way in Hawaii, right? Thanks for being here. We're about to wrap up. So if you want to ask some, questions quickly or give me some information, not information, but comments, that would be awesome. Sasha's saying that the girls are screaming when they're basically trapped in a day spa getting makeovers. Love Arya's iconic pink streaks. Has Charles considered perhaps becoming a hairdresser? That's funny. Charles did do a good job with her hair, I have to say. Natty's asking if I will review Scream Queens. I'm so into that show, and it hasn't even started. A lot of people have asked me that, and I will totally think about it. I guess what depends is once I watch it, I want to be in love with it. So if I really like it, then sure, I'll be happy to review it. But I'm looking forward to that. I think that's coming out this fall. Sassy says the 8th episode is named "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" That seems interesting. Very. The reference to the brother thing, that's very interesting. Whereas Jenna Molly asks, I don't know. Great question. Where are a lot of people on this show? Wow, that's all good. They mentioned blinding her when they mentioned Lucas too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where half the people go. Where is Ren? We haven't seen Ren forever. Okay, so our time is up. Again, if you're just catching this, or if you're just like tuning in, this will be on my channel like in 10 minutes, and like the whole thing will be on here the whole hour, so you can watch it and you can comment and I will comment back. And thank you guys so much for being here. There were so many of you tonight with so many awesome comments. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you guys. Please talk to me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram until next week, because I will miss you if not. So have a wonderful evening or day, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.